Hi everyone and welcome to SWPL My Story Short, and today we are joined by Loren Campbell. How are you, Loren?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
No, not at all. Thanks for joining us and taking the time. So a lot to talk about with yourself. In the last season, you decided it was time to hang up the boots after spending your whole career at Aberdeen. Wanted to find out for you how that transition has been, what you're missing, what you're not missing, more to the point as well. So how have you found that adjustment since you retired?
Yeah, it's been good actually. You know, everybody comes up to me and goes, "Oh, how's retirement? Are you missing it?" And the answer is no, strangely. Like, no, or maybe not yet is probably my answer. So I retired there at the end of last season, and I went on holiday in September. So I gave myself that time to do absolutely nothing. Like, hardly even featured at the gym, to be honest. But just never had a summer to myself. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, take time, don't rush it back into anything. So yeah, my holiday was like a couple of weeks ago now, so should probably be trying to do something back in the game now soon. But yeah, just been enjoying having time. It's strange. I work full time, so not having to rush home, get something down and then to training 3 nights a week is quite nice actually to not be able to do that after doing it for my whole life. I don't know any other way. So yeah, it's been quite quiet, but also quite enjoyable just for the last few months.
So you spent your whole career at Aberdeen, obviously a club that's dear to you. Was it a difficult decision from that perspective that it was all that you really knew and a club that you love to decide that to call time on your career?
Yeah, it's hard to call retirement, I think, for anyone. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, if I just got injured, right, that'll call it for me. You know, in a bad way, no one ever wishes that. But so I got the opportunity, you know, to hang up my boots on my own terms, which looking back was really nice. But yeah, just I work full time, getting to an age where potentially I want to do some things in my personal life as well. I felt then like the cycle. I spoke about it with my dad, who went to basically every game I've ever played. So you know, went from under 13s all the way through the system and then got captain. So I felt like the whole cycle at Aberdeen had happened for me. And then I think Aberdeen for the next few years will be fighting for, you know, similar, just small progress for the next few years to try and catch up with those teams that are full time. So for the next 2 or 3 years, it was something I'd already done for a lot of my career, you know, fighting for being maybe in the top of the table, staying up. So I didn't feel like I was going to get that much more out of it personally, which is maybe selfish on myself, but it's a lot of time and effort. So it felt right. Also a bit of a transition with new manager coming in. They're trying to go professional and I've got a full-time job, like I said. So it just a number of things that made it feel right. So far not regretting the decision. But yeah, looking back with fond memories, don't regret any of it. And so far I feel like it was the right time. Yeah, so like I say, no big regrets yet.
Now, I know that it's early days that you have just stopped playing, and you've done a little bit of the media work with the BBC when Aberdeen are playing at home. Have you got any plans, maybe not right now, but in the future to stay involved in football, whether it is from a media side, a coaching side, still being involved at the club in some capacity?
Yeah, I don't know, life without football. So I don't think it's a case of how do I stay involved. Like I keep up to date every week. Like I'm still obsessed with the women's game and just football in general. So I think it won't leave me. But I've got my C license, so I do have a wee bit of coaching badges there. My old boss, Emma Hunter, she's relentless. She's like, get on the B, do this, do that, get coaching. But I feel like I'll be committed to a team and I'll be back in the routine of, you know, so many nights of training and then my Sundays probably again. So that's maybe in the bank for the future, just some time to myself. But I've just been taking opportunities to try new things like the BBC. My old captain Kelly, she actually double booked herself that weekend. You know, she was on the comms and then she booked herself for the highlight show. So I got that opportunity and thoroughly enjoyed it. I have not watched it back, so I can say. So if you've seen it, thanks for that. But got some nice comments, but I've not can't watch it back yet. Just can't do that. It was like that when I played football. It's like rather forget some of the stuff I've done. But Yeah, I've been playing futsal, I've been playing five-a-sides. Like I've just been saying yes to everything because I don't really know exactly what it is that I want to stay in the game in the aspect, if you know what I mean. I don't know if it is media, if it is coaching. So just sampling all at the moment, and then hopefully one will feel right and go with that.
Well, obviously, as we spoke about, you were at Aberdeen for your full career. You played at various different levels as well. When Aberdeen were at the top, then they went down, and then worked their way back up again. So it'd be good to hear it from your point of view, the differences in the game over the period of your career. Obviously, the Scottish game is on the up, the domestic side, teams going full time. So I think it would be good for you to reflect on the changes that you've seen actually actively being involved throughout that time.
Yeah, show my age doesn't help when I speak about these things, but yeah, me and Kelly have spoken about this as well, Kelly Forrest, and it's like we actually appreciate that you ever came through because it went from playing with your mates, being coached by volunteers or somebody that would take the interest. Alan Smith was a major part in Aberdeen when we were younger, and he put professionalism into it, but without like the backing of Aberdeen. We weren't affiliated with them or anything at the time. Playing at junior parks, on grass with social clubs at the side cheering you on. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't big crowds, it was just the parents that were there. So yeah, it's come a very long way to now, you know, being televised every week. Massive crowds like sell out stadiums. It's crazy. I think World Cups and Euros in the recent few years have just propelled the sport. It's the fastest growing sport, I think, isn't it? At the moment,
Yeah.
it's mental. So yeah, we went from playing with your mates, like you say, just training once, maybe twice a week, to basically training every day, and then being affiliated with Aberdeen towards the later stages of my career, professional, playing at Pittodrie. It's remarkable, really, to see how far it's come. When I was starting out in women's football, you just like you could go to the States, got offered to go to the States on a scholarship, but had an apprenticeship and you need to do, which you weighed up at the time. It was better to do the career option, but now it's getting really a big decision, I think, for young people to go, do I go for football or do I go for uni? Because it's getting like a full-time job. So yeah, massive improvement and impressive, to be honest. I always say I probably wish I was 10 years younger. Would like to have been in my early 20s now rather than my early 30s. But yeah, it's good to see the game where it is. But like I quite enjoyed my journey. I like to say I was the one that didn't have all this and it has improved so much. So yeah, one of those players that I think really appreciated towards the end of the career, where it was, like what we got from the club, how we were backed. I think a lot of young players now, quite rightfully, will probably be expecting that to be the standard. But yeah, was certainly more appreciative of it. So it was really good. Then it was funny because I was quite an older player in my Aberdeen team. It was me, and then it dropped to like age 20. Felt like I was a bit of their mum at the end of my career. So they were like, "Oh, it's all right, Loren's experience," but I wasn't experienced to playing in front of crowds. Like that's not in my DNA. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was going through that experience with them, to be honest. So.
Now, just to hear your thoughts on it now, because you're not so much on the outside, but as not being part of the squad, how have you felt Aberdeen have fared so far this season? We're almost coming to the end of the first round of fixtures. There's 2 games to go. I think, well, for me, just looking at it, outside the top 3, anyone can beat anyone. I think some of the results have shown that, and all the teams are improving. You can see that in performances. As well, and maybe teams that were getting heavy defeats earlier on in the season are now picking up points. One team will beat someone one week and then lose to someone else the next. So, what's your opinion on Aberdeen's start to the season?
I think it's been quite a good start. Like overall, they got beat by Dundee United at the weekend, so I was at that. I've got friends playing for Dundee United and Aberdeen now, so I would say it was neutral, but slightly more Aberdeen. So that's weird to watch from the sidelines as well. But I think Aberdeen, yeah, they've got points on the board early on in the season. They've beaten the likes of Motherwell. They didn't beat last season. The new manager's come in full time, and I think that's starting to show. I think they've got a style of play. They've got a kind of set formation, to be fair, but I think they've done really well, and I hope they continue it, because I feel like, this is my opinion, but like getting the full-time manager was a massive step up. But I think they have a very small squad, and unfortunately, I've had a couple of injuries in the last few weeks, which are long term. So hopefully in January they bolster their squad and they kind of ride through the next few fixtures until January. But I think, yeah, like as a team, as a club, I think they'll be quite happy with the way they've started, and it's good to get some points on the board early on in the season, because last season it was the opposite. It was piling on points towards the end, and it's more pressure on yourself. So yeah, I think it's really good. Like you say, almost through the first round of fixtures. They've got Glasgow City this weekend, which is a big ask. I go to most home games, so I'll be there watching. So yeah, I think it's like you say, the top three will potentially stand, in their own wee competition at the top, I personally feel, and then the rest can take points off of anyone. So it's a good start, but who knows, it could get much better, it could get worse. It's such a ever-changing kind of league at the moment. So, but yeah, I'm personally happy with the start the girls have got to.
It's great, Loren, and thanks so much for taking the time today to speak to us.
No worries, it was a pleasure to have me on. Thank you.
And thank you everyone for tuning in to SWPL My Story Short.